First pod after Panama.
Well, yes. I mean, the Panama pod was a good one.
It was a very
good one. Saying? So that's going to be dropping quickly with the whole fact of the ambassador over there. We were in Panama with the ambassador for his first time being such a young ambassador, but he invited us to go over there. But apart from that, we're here today because this podcast for me is important. I'm going to tell you why. Because everybody knows, my involvement with the League Against Cancer and stuff like that, and everything I do here with La Liga and the telethon we do every year. And every time you see more and more and more, innovative stuff coming out against cancer.
Yeah.
And I think that today's program is such an informative and not only that, but something that you could even request and maybe talk to your PCPs, your providing, physicians. So I want to welcome today Cody Simmons. Cody is the president and CEO of Dermasensor, which is this spectacular new device that is, I think, not only revolutionizing the world, but in medicine and skin cancer is going to be spectacular. So Cody, welcome. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. Excited to be on the pod with you guys today.
We're glad you made it down.
Yeah,
glad you made it down.
So for those people who don't know you, give us a little bit about your background and history and how you got into this.
Yeah, happy to. So I actually just hit 9 years with the company. So I'm the co-founder and CEO. Been quite the journey. And actually, it started with I had my first biopsy as a teenager. I grew up in Florida playing tennis. My mom soon after was diagnosed with melanoma. It was early stage. So fortunately, very easy to treat. Yeah. But I think that, and also studying engineering in college, kind of had this interest in health technologies and how could those benefit patients and their physicians. And I did my graduate research in a bioengineering lab at Stanford, and then I was at Genentech for several years, which is a very large oncology drug company. So did a lot of, obviously, cancer-related work there. And this is the third health tech device-related startup I've been a part of launching.
Incredible.
And the second as co-founder. And so I was very excited. I connected with Dr. Maurice Ferre. Actually, a good friend of mine from college, Christian Seal, had started Bootcamp Miami, which is a digital health accelerator here in Miami. And Maurice was an investor in that fund. Christian introduced us, told him about the technology. I told him about, the personal passion and experience with that. And a few months later, I moved from San Francisco to Miami. And that was about 9 years ago. And as Maurice put it, they were looking for someone to turn their research project into a company.
There you go.
So it's this huge, we didn't bring it in today, a huge 30-pound prototype that actually came out of Boston University, the technology. And so, it took the first few years of millions of dollars was miniaturizing it. The next few years was running about $20 million worth of clinical studies to get through the FDA, prove it works well in thousands of patients with hundreds of doctors, that it really benefits them. So that's a bit about my background in the story.
I mean,
well,
I was going to say,
go ahead.
This is the first tech podcast we technically do.
Oh, okay.
So,
but I think the biggest thing that I think for everybody out there, because this is so fascinating to me, because this is the part that a lot of people, we have a lot of viewers that are innovative. There's a lot of viewers out there that want to come up with their own product.
Yep.
And I think that
sometimes they don't have $20 million to do it.
But I didn't either. You got to raise it.
You got to raise it. But the thing is, I want you to give those people, Cody, more or less a little, a little brief in the sense of how is it that difficult? I mean, is it the dedication, the passion, the fact of, we talk about before you got here, you go, listen, what's the process of getting an FDA? An approval,
a lot,
and writing those summaries that you have to in the clinical trials. I mean, I guess like in anything, right? With power, dedication to it. But if you can just elaborate a little bit on the fact of how that process works, the FDA and a bunch of stuff.
Sure, yeah, and in our world, right? I think medical devices, addressing a real clinical need is important, right? I think that's a guiding light, and if you can marry that with powerful technology that works well, that's kind of the two key things to look for. So in our case, we didn't come up with this idea or this approach of, hey, if frontline providers think internal medicine, family medicine, OBGYNs, nurses at CVS Minute Clinics, if they could just better assess suspicious moles and detect cancer earlier. You know, they could catch more cancer, prevent unnecessary referrals, save more lives, blah, blah. We didn't come up with that idea. That's been around for decades.
Right.
The challenge has been all of those frontline providers I just mentioned, by definition, are not dermatologists. They are not specialized in assessing skin conditions.
Yeah.
So studies show they miss a lot of skin cancers, and they're also doing about 30 to 50 referrals for every one melanoma. So only 2 to 3% of the referrals for melanoma are actually melanoma.
Wow.
So it's tons of unnecessary. Dermatologists, and their biopsy hit rate is they're like 5 times more efficient. So the challenge has been, how do you turn those frontline providers into as effective skin cancer checkers as dermatologists? And that's been the goal for decades, but you can't make a family doctor, an OB-GYN, do hundreds or thousands of hours of training to become dermatologist level expertise, because they're not a dermatologist. You know, it's a challenging. Yeah.
But playing a little devil's advocate, to a dermatologist, that may feel like you're taking me out of the picture, but that's not the case, you know?
It's not the case. Yeah, what's really interesting, and this is why, you know, there's been a couple other companies before that have gone after this with similar kind of tools, but for dermatologists. And the main challenge with that is, there's a couple of challenges, but first of all, they're already experts. Like, they're specialized in this. They do skin every day, all day. They do biopsies all the time.
Right.
They are it. So first of all, it's very hard to improve their performance. And even if you could improve their performance, they don't necessarily believe you're improving their performance, right? Like, they're confident in their decision making. They do this all day, every day. And so it's kind of a high threshold to kind of change dermatology care. But non-dermatologists are like, yeah, skin's tough. I'm not very confident in it. And so you can kind of work with the clinical and also the financial dynamics a bit more. The challenge for frontline providers is it's got to be quick, easy, low cost.
Yeah, it has to be smooth.
That was the challenge for us, is we had to invest so much money on the front end, miniaturizing this huge, expensive system.
But you were telling me that dermatologists are adapting it. Like, they have a good outlook on the actual device. They're not against.
Yeah, so derms are very supportive of this because, and they were actually have been the one for decades. Like I mentioned, kind of this has been a goal of not just the primary care community, the public health community, insurance companies, but of dermatologists, because 99% of skin cancer, including melanoma, the deadliest, is curable if it's detected early.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So there's literally tens of thousands of unnecessary deaths among melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma that could be basically cured or prevented. And there's about 5 million skin cancers diagnosed each year. It's more common than all other cancers combined.
Yeah.
On about 3 million patients, because a lot of times, you know, you could have a multiple.
Is there like areas in the United States or around the world that there's more skin cancer because of sun issues?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So basal cell and squamous cell carcinoma, there's more of those in the Sun Belt, and more of them come on sun-exposed areas because it's basically a result directly of sun damage.
Gotcha.
But surprisingly, the highest melanoma rates are actually in areas like Utah and Maine and some of these areas where there's very little sun and people get sunburns.
Yeah.
Because sunburns is really what increases your chance of melanoma. If you always have lots of little consistent sun,
It's good.
the melanin, like your tan, basically helps protect.
Wow.
It's little umbrella,
I get it.
like little umbrellas that kind
Makes
of
sense.
protect yourself from nuclear.
Listen, but you're the person that's best explained that to me ever. I
That
talked to
helpful?
dermatologist. Very helpful. Very helpful. I've never
If
thought
you
about it
look
like
at
that,
it,
but that makes sense.
And you look at it, all the thing says that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. That's
crazy.
1 out of 5 people. That's a ton. That's a lot. My biggest thing now is I just see having something like this is, for me, like, so wonderful, because that you can have this device in, let's say, my primary care physician, right?
Yeah.
So that I can go to my primary care physician, and I want to touch on a basis that Eddie just said a little while ago with the dermatologist. Going back to that, I feel that happens the same thing would happen with the colon, with doctors. When Cologuard came out, with people saying, "Oh, well, is Cologuard now gonna, take over the fact of you going to your doctor, to a doctor to see?" No, but even those doctors, what's the colon doctor now? I just forgot. Well, anyway, but the doctors of saying, "I'll send you the Cologuard."
Yep.
which is easier. And then you do it, and if something comes back from that
Exactly.
test, they'll go ahead and then want to revisit you. So, to the fact of like the dermatologist not wanting to use this, I wouldn't know why. I mean, it gives even more assertion to what they're doing.
So I think that, yeah, there's definitely some interest in the derm setting, especially for dermatology practices that have like nurses and physician assistants, right? Because they're not as specialized as dermatologists.
Correct.
So there's definitely some interest there. Our label, our intended use is for physicians who are not dermatologists, because the FDA, you asked about that. But
Yeah.
their rationale was, okay, you've done studies showing device performance in dermatology and primary care, but you've only done the conclusive studies showing the benefit risk is positive for non-specialists. We haven't tried to show we improve the performance of dermatologists. I think there are some we would, right? Because some dermatologists do skin cancer all day.
Yeah.
Some, doing aesthetic
Typical,
work
yeah.
all day.
Right.
Like, maybe they're not as skilled, but our focus is frontline. And to your point, like Cologuard, derms are supportive of this for primary care because it encourages PCPs to do more skin exams, right? They're more capable, they're more confident. And the big thing is they detect more cancers. So our pivotal study with over 100 doctors, over 10,000 lesion assessments, showed that device use cuts missed cancers in half.
Wow. That's
And
incredible.
so if you're a dermatologist, like, hey, if PCPs in my area start using this, not only will more skin exams be done, patients are asking about it. The PCP now has this about, like, hey, I'm going to start being more proactive.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, instead of just waiting for a patient to point something out,
Correct.
I'll start checking. They have their shirt off, you're using a stethoscope, let me see if I see anything. So they'll start not just doing more skin exams, but they're going to catch more cancer.
But to that point, you're spot on, because the thing is that if I'm a dermatologist, I would like for the PCPs to have this, because I would require this. Think about this. I gotta, this is just not me. I go to my, my primary care. Everybody know I'm hypochondriac I go to my primary care all the time. But
He's the office doctor.
So my
He really is.
Yeah.
my kids go to their annual checkup
Yeah.
to their pediatrician.
Yeah.
Would it not be spectacular to have? I mean, they have to go through a series of things in order to go back to school.
Yeah.
You got to
All the
check
doctors
your
will test
eyesight.
me.
You got to hear the
Like
ear.
your yearly physical.
Your yearly physical.
Yeah.
So imagine, and I don't know, pick this up in front of everybody so you can see. Imagine having this machine, and then your pediatrician or your primary care just go ahead and saying, okay, let me check you out.
Yeah, if anything works.
That right now, if you catch something, to your point, on time, the guy that comes out, and you'll explain how that works. But if that comes out a little bit suspicious or something, hey, you need to go see the dermatologist. Look at the thing that you just did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the prevention. I mean, you're helping the folks, because by the time a parent really doesn't look into the sense of a kid, the spot, during the summer and the sun, you see a spot now growing, and now you tell your pediatrician, now go see the dermatologist. A lot of time can happen with skin cancer.
Yeah.
And it can,
But from what I know, the kids, you have an age thing right now, right? You're trying to
It
get it
is.
for
It's
younger people,
adults.
but not yet.
Well, and that's, there's, all adults were enrolled, but the FDA, like with Cologuard, there's kind of an age limit because skin cancer is much more common as you get older.
Yeah.
So our indicated use is 40 plus.
40 plus right now.
All adult patients were enrolled. But from the FDA standpoint, there wasn't as many cancers in the younger patients, so it's hard to tell if it worked.
Well, I think we should change it.
Consistent.
Yeah, I thought you guys are
Change.
pushing
Fix
for
it.
that, no?
I think we should change it. Because
I will say melanoma is the #1 cancer killer of young women.
Because that doesn't
I
make
think
sense.
it-
Well, that doesn't make sense? Wouldn't you want to catch it
But
earlier
but
than
it's
later?
the same with
Yeah.
Cologuard, right? Like, yes, there are younger patients that get colon cancer, but if you're doing widespread testing or screening, the
I get what you're
burden to the
saying.
health
I get what
systems
you're
are false
saying.
positive.
that's an argument. If
And
I'm
when
a good
doctors
attorney, there could be-
are allowed to do what they want.
Yeah.
Right? If a
That's
doctor
what I'm
has the
saying.
device, they can
Yeah.
use it on whoever they want.
Correct.
But in terms of what's on label that we can market for and promote for, but doctors do like stuff with, they use Botox in areas that aren't
Right.
formally studied and
Here. How many doctors are now using Botox on younger people?
Yeah, all
because
kinds of
their,
crazy, yeah.
I think-
because they sweat a lot under the.
Oh, yeah, you're right,
tan
you're right.
Yeah.
And everything they're doing that. I'm totally against it. I can, I'm not an attorney, but I'll argue this thing all day long in the sense that I think that kids, because my son is very, very fair. I mean,
And he's in the sun all the time.
and he's in the sun all the time. And I'm always looking. I take him. He's 14, and I take him for a yearly checkup to his dermatologist. So, with all the respect to the FDA, they gotta
Yeah.
they gotta shorten that.
And
down.
well, what's interesting about the FDA evidence, and this you asked earlier, the whole process, and it's fascinating, and they really did push our thinking. I mean, there's a lot of sub analyses, and they're like skin of color. We knew they would be very focused on.
That's what I'm saying.
And we had a lot of literature showing that the optics are not affected because we're assessing tissue beneath the surface of the skin. We're not assessing what it looks like. We're assessing cellular level content. So the optics literature said theoretically, right, it should not be affected.
Yeah.
But no one had done studies with thousands of patients
Correct.
showing there's no difference. So we did that, but the darker skin types didn't have tons of patients. And so, we did all these sub-analyses. They asked, is it, I didn't even know what this meant. Is performance different on bony prominences? Exactly. What the hell is a bony prominence? So our doctors are like, bony prominence.
Not much meat.
It's on your, yeah, exactly. It's on your elbow, your elbow, your scalp.
You got it though. You got close.
Yeah, you're close. Yeah. So it's like the skin is thinner,
Yeah.
right? And is that different? So
Yeah.
we looked at all kinds of stuff.
It's incredible. You wouldn't think how many variables they look for because everyone's so different.
But that's,
So our argument was, there was less cancers on younger patients. The device missed slightly more on those than overall. But we're like, statistically, that's meaningless. This could be sample size. And the key thing was that the benefit to the doctors was higher for younger patients because the doctors know that skin cancer is rarer in younger patients.
right.
So the doctors, when they're looking at these lesions, I'm sure that's fine. So the device was more likely to improve cancer detection in the younger patients because doctors know that, right? Okay, risk-wise, it looks a little concerning, but it's probably fine because they're young. So that was our frustration. It's like we get there's less lesions there, but the doctor's baseline performance for detecting it is lower.
100%.
So it's potentially the bigger benefit because the doctor's flags aren't up yet.
Yeah.
Like your doctor is like, oh, you're a young kid, you're fine.
No.
And sure, the large majority of the time they're fine, but sometimes
Sometimes they're not.
they're not. Yeah.
And we have friends. We had a friend that
There you go.
that was a big. I don't even like talking about that story, but his son passed away of cancer. It was really sad.
I mean, again, when I come, remember that's very, very, very near and dear to me. I come from the nonprofit, which is the League Against Cancer. I see people get in there, and I see young people, 23, 22-year-old people that have cancer. That you're saying, how did you get, young ladies with breasts or something? You're not in the age group of getting a mammogram yet.
Still happens.
And then it still happens.
Yeah.
So, again, goes back to my thing, if this would be, at least in my mind, if this would be with PCPs or even pediatricians, just to offer it, to your point,
Well, any
doctor can have it.
Any doctor
Yeah.
can contact us,
That's what I'm saying.
say they're interested, and buy it from us.
Gotcha.
Correct.
So the FDA, the term is called off-label marketing. You can only market to what your intended use is, what you're
Right.
approved for, right? But if doctors, they can use their discretion. That's the point of being a trained physician.
Yeah.
They can use it for whatever they want. So that's what we've had all kinds of, not profiles you would expect, even optometrists and
Interesting.
dentists. All right, then have we had a dentist? I don't know. Chiropractors.
Chiropractic makes sense.
Right? Because they're like, we learn ABCDs, assessing lesions. We see people half naked all day. Like,
100%.
if we see a mole, we would be remiss in not saying something.
And not saying, and then how many of
but we don't want to say something if it's fine. So now we can scan it. And
But to your point, how many people like a chiropractor would say, hey, listen, I would get that checked out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then how many people would say, oh, okay, thanks, and never do it?
And never-
Now imagine
Yeah.
that chiropractor having the machine there and get, by the way, listen, I have this.
Yeah.
It takes a second. You want me to? Yeah, sure. Now all of a sudden you get a detection.
And I'll take that one step further.
Okay.
Just imagine. I think there's a couple local groups like this in Miami. We should talk to them. But imagine CVS.
Yes.
Imagine Walgreens.
With the
Imagine
clinics.
exactly. So now you're there. You're waiting in line for your prescription. You're grabbing some sunblock, and there's a sign that says, "Oh, have a suspicious mole. Get it tested for skin cancer today."
But the same way you do COVID testing and flu
Exactly.
testing and strep testing, this will be spectacular.
Yep.
Well, listen, I don't know. I love this. I
No,
think
it's amazing.
I'm all about preventive.
Talking
You
about
guys want a demo?
yeah, we can demo. We can demo.
All right.
Yeah,
Let me know
we'll
what
demo
that's
now.
right.
We'll
I have a couple spots
We'll
actually.
demo Eddie.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that go to the doctor every 2-3 years, But listen, talking about that, okay? What you've been able to do is remarkable with the team, and I know this is your third time doing a startup. What has been, in this particular case, what would you say has been maybe your biggest challenges in bringing something like this to market? Or what do you see are hurdles right now that, you're seeing to bring it into market?
Yeah, I'd say that there's all three main stages were very challenging, and each had their own major hurdles. The first one was product development, right? So the hardware, it started off as this 30-pound microwave-sized device. Our collaborators at Boston University, developed that in their laboratory. All kinds of crazy studies they did with colon cancer, esophageal cancer, skin cancer. So actually turning that into something that quick, easy to use with one hand.
Yeah.
The original required two people. One person sitting at the big benchtop one, and the other one holding the long probe tip to the lesion.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So, like, maybe in a dermatology practice, someone would be willing to pay $100,000 for that system and have a technician and the doctor operating it
Right.
together. Not a busy primary care doctor. Their average consult time's 10 minutes.
Yep.
So that was tough, especially because there was a lot of buzz at the time on, you can apply algorithms to a smartphone photo and diagnose skin cancer.
Yep. I've seen those before.
There was like a lot of buzz around that. There's a couple papers that came out. So a lot of investors were like, why are you bothering spending millions of dollars miniaturizing this huge system if, you're going to just have competitors that use a smartphone that costs nothing, right? And I'm like, those really don't work that well. It's surface level, doesn't work well in skin of color because visually it appears different. You have to standardize lighting, distance. If you have hair in the way, it's a challenge. In best case scenario, the performance is as good as looking at it visually.
Yeah.
Because you're just assessing the visual level. Yeah, so like maybe they get as good as dermatologists. And so it's tough in the early days. Now that we were actually the only one that have successfully done the studies and gotten FDA approval, that's kind of shut those concerns up.
Right.
Because we've actually have a couple competitors that have failed major pivotal studies
Oh, wow.
with photo-based tools.
With the photos.
Because a lot of those issues. Yeah. And so we've shown that, capturing that tissue level data, cellular level, what's the size of the nucleus, presence of condensed chromatin, a lot of those cellular features that pathologists look at under a microscope to diagnose cancer, that's what we're assessing. Correct. Not just what does it look like at the surface. The doctor's already
can't see on a picture.
Well, the doctor's already looking at it at the
Yeah.
surface. Like
Correct.
they already have an initial idea.
Right.
So this provides that more, sophisticated cellular level data. That's the gold standard. Like that's how pathologists diagnose. You don't look at the surface and diagnose that it's cancer. You do a biopsy, send it off, and they diagnose.
So that was your first problem, was product.
So that was a big problem, especially because competitors like, oh, we're going to do this great from a smartphone. So that was a big challenge. The second one was clinical. So clinical development, doing all these major prospective studies, designing them, executing
How many
them.
people have you scammed? Just curious. Have you scammed?
So
scammed
the
with
AI training data set is based on about 2,000 lesions. The validation studies tested another 2,000. And interestingly, we just hit 1 year and a couple months ago into device deliveries. We've hit 2,000 lesions a month that our commercial users are scanning. We should be at 10,000 by the end of the year.
Excellent.
So really exciting, given the fast growth.
100%.
And so yeah, no,
clinical trials-
we estimate we've scanned about 14,000 lesions so far, and in our study, about 14% of those were cancerous. So we've definitely detected, at least 1,000 skin cancers by now.
Right.
Some of those would have been detected anyway, right?
Right.
But a lot of those would not have been.
And what is I mean, I know we're gonna part 3, but what is the people's reaction usually when they see something and it's like, hey, like, what do you usually get? Are they worried? Are they concerned? They're thankful?
Yeah, so the physicians have those discussions with the patients. The universal reaction we hear a lot is, patients think it's so cool, right? Because they're like, it's so cool because right now standard of care is the doctor eyeballs it. I mean, that looks a little concerned.
With the little magnifying
And
glass.
sometimes they use it's called a dermatoscope. It's literally a magnifying glass with polarized light.
Correct.
They're like technically was first used like 150 years ago.
Yeah.
Widespread use the last 40
Yeah.
years.
Which that's what they do when I go. They go.
That's
with
what
that
they do.
little
They
thing.
kind of look around, yeah. And that's dermatologists. Primary care doctors don't use that.
At all.
They just like, I think it's okay.
So you have
So you
to
go from
like-
the regular naked eye to the dermatologist with a magnifier. And again, I don't want to be wrong from dermatologists. I'm just saying they'll go ahead and use a little bit more of an advanced situation.
And we hear Star Trek comparisons, like the tricorder, I wasn't a big Star Trek guy, but it's like beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like scans the body for
That's
disease.
cool, man.
So yeah, we hear tricorder, we hear, and people like when I do the demo, when it's processing the result, the screen is like circling like on a computer, and we've heard from doctors, patients like watching the device think,
Wow.
right? So it's like, oh, we gathered the data, collected the scan data, and now it's processing it. It's thinking. The AI is thinking, and then it's going to give you.
nervous.
No, but what? That's exactly when I say that people say, "Oh, you know, all these things are out there now."
Yeah.
Look at all the things that are out there right now. I'm not going to mention names because I'm going to give it, but all those scans. And all those...
So FDA just put out a list at the end of the in January. They just passed 1,000 AI-enabled medical devices that are authorized by the FDA. I think about half of them are for radiology.
Incredible.
Right, so MRI scans, whatever, you know, algorithms that can help kind of flag potentially suspicious. Yeah, so it kind of helps radiologists looking at slides to kind of identify concerning areas. There's one device out of the over 1,000, it's probably 1,200 plus by now, one device that has any kind of dermatology application. This one.
No way.
So last year there was 2 publications in Nature. One was a full paper about this, and it called in the abstract. I was very proud of this, and I sent it to the FDA. You get to know them well. I mean, on a text message basis with a few of them.
Of course.
Is it said the approval marks a pivotal moment in digital health innovation. Nature said that, like, pretty cool.
That is.
And later in the paragraph, and it talked about because there's never before been an AI power tool of any kind in dermatology. This is the first one, so it kind of opens a new regulatory pathway, and you know, blah blah blah. So it's not easy being the first one, though.
No, but you guys did a short remark.
So again, it's to all our viewers, because I know everybody's going to be asking these questions and stuff like that. But how could like our viewers say, I want to get tested by this? It's not like you just go anywhere. You got to go to, I guess, your.
So we have on our website, we have a physician finder.
Okay.
So if you go on our website, there's at least a few clinics in the Miami area. And there's a couple of health systems here too. So Baptist Health just started use. We just did the setups 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So the family medicine program, the executive primary care program, and the concierge program, all devices now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so Baptist, hopefully UM and others will get on board soon as well. But yeah, some private practices and Baptist here.
And can patients maybe tell their doctors, hey, you should look into this?
And 100%. Yeah. Like, if people can bring it up with their doctors.
Tell my PCP that get this. Trust me. Willie, if you're listening, I want one of this in the office.
But that's actually a good point. If you're a PCP right now, you have the opportunity to get access to DermaSensor, which is an AI-powered device that could detect
and you can
skin
use
cancer.
existing reimbursement codes. Exactly. Yep.
Okay. What is the best approach? How should they reach out to you?
So yeah, I mean, our website has a really easy form. I think it's get a demo now. That's kind of our call to action at the top of the website. Can reach out to us on any of the social media channels. LinkedIn.
They'll book a meeting.
Yeah, and they just book a meeting with one of our sales team. They'll talk them through it, and given our low pricing, the ease of use of the device, we're actually seeing half of interested doctors that go on the website that fill out a form. They saw an ad on Instagram. They said, I'm interested. Half of them sign up, become a customer within 2 weeks from that first, hey, I'm interested. And a third within a week. Which for medicine and signing contracts with businesses, like
quick.
Pretty quick.
That's like really fast. So it's great.
I'm curious to know, do you see like younger doctors that are more forward thinking, adopting it, or have you had a hurdle with like the older generation?
Yeah, I think of the, when it's called the like sort of the innovation curve, innovation adoption curve. There's the tech enthusiast, right? With anything new, they want to try out, right? Remember, Google Glass came out, and like whatever it is, we're going to try it. So we have some of those, but then there's kind of the early adopters. And to your point, definitely, I think younger physicians know AI is going to be a big part of practicing medicine for the decades to come, right? So they may as well start using this now. It also helps career-wise kind of differentiate them maybe from some of the physicians later in their career, right? Because they are using some of these new tools. But yeah, if you're retiring in a couple of years, do you want to start trying new tools? Maybe not.
Right.
Listen, again, I'm all into this whole thing always of new stuff and all these stuff that has to do with, early detection and all this bunch of stuff. We at the league, we do perform, we do free mammograms, we do free PAPs, we do free everything. And I think this would be spectacular in that organization because, again, I think that this is not only revolutionizing, but at the same time, this is saving lives.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, and that's why I think doctors, regardless of the age, we've shown in all these studies,
100%.
it decreases their missed cancers. So in that sense, doesn't matter what age you are, you want to help catch cancer in your patients.
You know,
And again, why wouldn't this be good in the sense that you say, hey, you went to your primary care physician, he saw something, which before we wrap up, I really want you to take us through that. What would it be like if we do an exam on Ed right now and
Let's
an
do
exam,
it.
like
So I'm gonna
mole or something.
so literally I didn't bring a box, but literally it's like
Right.
the size of a shoebox. You open it,
Correct.
you unpack this in 5 seconds, 10
Yeah.
seconds. So turning the device on. So this is if you're a doctor, you get our device in the mail, right? You open it up. This is the whole process. So this is good. Normally I demo it on my own arm because I have a lot of moles.
Right.
But yeah, so I literally just hit the
Big one over here, which I'm hyped about right now.
So I hit the power button on the top. So it's booting up now. It takes about 25 seconds, and then it's ready to go. So the whole process, the first step's a calibration step, making sure nothing's blocking the probe tip. So for example, if the doctor didn't wipe it off and it's like some makeup got caked on or dirt or something,
Yep.
so it's kind of a safety step, making sure the device is functioning well and there's nothing blocking the tip. So let's do that first. So that's the first step, and I'll hold it up. And I'll hold it up to the microphone here.
oh, you
Yep.
see calibrating.
Yep. So calibration step, and then each one of these measurements, you get them all here. Supposed to be there. So each one of these is assessing about half a millimeter of tissue. So kind of the voiceover here is, we're taking 5 tissue samples completely harmlessly. Each one's assessing about half millimeter of tissue. And then the device processes the results.
I mean,
And yeah, okay.
Am I good?
Low
Am I
risk.
good? Am I good, doc?
Low risk.
Let's go.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not providing.
Okay.
Right.
The disclaimer has to be there. You
That's right.
you feel like a doctor, so I trust you.
But the doctor already that's gonna have the device can tell you it's low risk.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
that's incredible.
I mean,
So that's
think
they'd be like, it doesn't look too suspicious. It didn't look too suspicious. Not that suspicious. It's didn't have irregular border, didn't have irregular colors. But a lot of the I'm not confident it's
Yeah, of course.
benign. I'm not a dermatologist. It's not my expertise.
Right.
I'll refer you to be safe. But that's $50 to $100 copay to the derm. That's hours off work. That's who knows how many weeks or months waiting to go see the derm. You don't know.
And potentially saving a life.
Yeah, and so now they can do this in 30 seconds and say, oh, actually, with depending on which study, 97 and 99% confidence, this is none of the 3 skin
so.
cancer.
In that percentile, how accurate?
So that's what when the device says it's negative, it is negative 97 and 99% of the time for all 3 cancers because we've done 15 studies.
Between
and all
97 and 99.
No, I mean,
you can feel good.
For
Yeah,
a person that
Very
has never
good.
been to a dermatologist, that if you at least go to your PCP
Yep.
and you go to your family doctor and he can do this,
exactly.
you haven't done it in 4 years. Imagine the peace of mind that you have.
And
just
remember,
having
if it
done
is
now.
cancer, it would change over time. A lot of benign moles change
Yeah.
too, but if it's cancer, it would change over time. So if a few months later, and that's what doctors say. So I think but it's not 100%. And so keep it on. If you see a changing color,
Yeah.
getting bigger, let me know. Then I can refer you. When it says positive, it is positive. It comes with a 1 to 10 scale. It is positive from 6% to 61% of the time.
wow.
So that's kind of like, okay, lower score, that's not likely to be cancer, but the higher scores, and that's what's exciting, is that a lot of these health systems and derm practices are like, hey, if it's a high-risk patient, we'll get them in right away.
100%.
Because we talked to a lot of health systems that have 6-month, 9-month, 12-month wait times.
It's normal.
But now is, hey, it's a high-risk patient, it's a coin flip, they have cancer, we'll see the one within 2 weeks.
well,
I have a couple things.
okay, but the thing is that well, go ahead.
Oh, you're from Miami?
Go then.
My parents grew up on the beach, actually, and then went to University of Florida, never left, so I grew up in Gainesville.
In Gainesville?
Yeah.
But the product was created here in Miami, or like was there any?
The tech was out of BU, but yeah, company was founded here. We built it from, off the ground here. All of our early study sites were South Florida. Yep.
So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about what you think technology and AI and kind of like you don't really think a product like this would be created in Miami or thought of in Miami or established in Miami. We're not known for tech, so how has that been?
How did that happen? Yeah, so I think Maurice with Mako Surgical. Mako was a very successful medical device company down here. It was a surgical robotics company that ultimately went public and sold to Stryker for $1.65 billion. So it was very successful, and I think as part of that, there's been a few companies that some of the early employees and some of the executives at that company have started their own companies. Some of the people that successfully, that Maurice and others, they've started new companies together. They even named two of them the same, OrthoSensor, DermaSensor. OrthoSensor also sold to Stryker a few years ago. And so it's been a good, kind of the medical device ecosystem here has really benefited.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I never have thought that.
I mean,
You want to ask the last question then?
no, listen. All I'm saying is my question is simple. What are you guys waiting for? You gotta get DermaSensor.
Ask about DermaSensor today. That's right. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your yeah.
I mean, because again, I just, for me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, again, I'm one of those people that.
Why not? It's that second opinion, right? It's
But I'm a person that if they tell me this is let's say, and not in a Walgreens, right, a Minute Clinic, a
Yep.
health thing. Hey, it's you gotta pay $50, $60. I'm there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a peace of mind.
Yeah.
Especially in at least in South Florida where we live.
Yeah, a lot of high cancer rates,
in the whole sense. So, I mean, I just want everybody to be responsible. Everybody, at least, you need to get checked out. If you haven't been to dermatologists or you haven't been to your PCPs or whatever, you should get checked out. But I really suggest that people should try and ask their PCPs, hey, can I have this in my office? I mean, because I think that this is a game changer.
Yeah.
This is a game changer.
I mean, it's the only one.
I
It's
mean,
incredible.
big time. Listen, Cody, we can continue talking
You wanna do the
for
rest or no?
okay.
Yeah,
all
it was the last one.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're recording anyway, so we're
Harder
good.
question. Yeah, that we could clip it out.
This is a total nothing that has to do with anything, but
This is hopefully this is presented by Toast.
and it's good that because the fact is that Cody's where's the offices of you guys? You're in
in Brickell.
In Virgo, yeah. So
Yeah. And
we'll
the
get you right now. We'll
and
get
the
you right now.
Komodo.
Ready? It's gonna be the hardest question.
Hart.
All right.
Presented by Toast Tab. Okay. What are your top 3 restaurants? You can give us Brickell or Miami
Oh,
or
Go to
your go-to.
yeah.
Starting 3, 2, 1. Ready?
whatever you
Go.
like.
Top of my head, yeah, Milos is nice.
Okay.
It's like,
What do you like about it?
yeah. The vibe, the food's great, a little overpriced, but I've been to, and I hate to admit this because I was like, this is absurd price for crab.
Oh God.
Is claw.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was so good. I was like, man, this is really good crab.
You hear a lot of good reviews. You've been there.
I'll stay quiet.
Okay.
It was really good, and maybe I was in part impressed by the crab. It was like 5 feet. I was
Yeah.
with a few
Yeah,
friends.
but
it's hard.
that same price is that same
Yeah.
thing.
So you got Milo, you got Claw, and what's your number 1?
Yeah. God, you know what? I'll throw out like a kind of random one that's a bit off the beaten path. Mignonette. It's a
Mignonette?
seafood place. It's downtown. Exactly. Yeah, it's not very well
we
known.
like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of like it's like a go-to Italian seafood kind of place.
What do you like about it?
Yeah. Just like great food, good environment, chill. It's not over the top like those other two places.
Brickell?
Downtown.
Downtown.
Yeah. It's maybe on like 15th and 16th and Miami Ave.
But is it on retail ground or is it like
No. Yeah, like
Yeah,
right
like
off
a
the street.
storefront.
Yeah.
incredible?
This is we
That's
get so many
incredible.
restaurants every day, and we still to this day we
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
each other and go,
Yeah.
another restaurant.
I wanna go
What
check
about
that
it?
out.
And now I realized I was thinking all dinners. The go-to like lunch spot is the Daily.
the daily? Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
can't
not
stop.
creative, not
Can't
creative.
go wrong with that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it's really exciting. Never before have patients been able to walk in their doctor's office, ask them about a suspicious mole, and it be tested for cancer.
Yeah.
Like it's just never been possible
Yeah.
Well, listen,
in America. In America,
So we need this in more.
medicine.
we
PCP
So that's
setting
what-
everywhere.
so appreciate you guys having me
push
on.
this with your PCPs. Tell them to call DermaSensor. Cody, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And by the way, we want to bring you back because this whole innovation.
Yeah,
No, I had like 8 more questions here.
You always do. You always do. But it's
I,
okay.
I,
the
I
tech-
talk
the
too
tech
long.
side.
My bad. Yeah. All right.
Thank you,
guys.
Cody.
All right, all good. Thank you.
Bye bye.
And cut.